Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lalit Soni, and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we'll be discussing about the Indian Express newspaper as usual, and then we'll be moving further with the important section over here. Here you can see we'll be starting with the fact of the day, and then we'll be moving to the next section, that is geography through maps. This is a new section which we have started, wherein we'll be looking at the India's geography, and we'll try to incorporate the important aspect of the world geography as well in the later on phases. Okay. And today we'll be discussing these three important articles, that is protected area regime. Recently in states like Manipur, this regime has been reinstated. Okay, earlier what happened was that in 2011 around, this particular regime was revoked in Manipur, but now it has been you can say again redeployed over here. So we will be talking about that, what is this regime and why this has been reinstated recently. Okay, then moving further, India, China and Mansarovar. You know that India and China has been going through some kind of tensions after 2020. We have seen this Galwan issue. Hold on. Okay, so anyways, so after 2020 we have seen this issue. Before that we have seen in Doklam also there was this standoff. After that in 2020 we have seen Galwan issue, and then there was this military kind of standoff which situation which was going on in the LAC. So considering that, there was this dialogues which are on the hold, but recently our national security advisor has met with the, you can say, foreign minister over here, and they have gone for talks and they have decided 6 points. Okay, we'll be discussing all those 6 points, and we'll be discussing that the Mansarovar Yatra, which was actually on hold for a while, now will be restarted. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. We'll also look at the map as well. Okay, coming to the next one, what are sacred groves? Now, when we talk about the sacred groves, Supreme Court has made an observation and they have directed Rajasthan government. So we'll be talking about that, what are sacred groves, what Supreme Court has said, and what are the areas where they are prominent. Okay, so we'll be talking about all these aspects today. Now moving further and starting with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. So the question was, which article of the Indian Constitution talks about the process of delimitation? 72, 182, 82 and 54. Okay, so option C is your right answer, that is 82. I hope last time this question was not there on the screen. I have recited it orally, so I hope you must have attempted that. Now, before moving further, I would like to tell you that at our Noida center, we are starting new batches for English and Hindi medium English, and 16th January 2025, 11:30 a.m. for Hindi medium. Okay. Now, this is about the Noida center. Other than that, we are having different courses at our different centers. That is, when we are talking about the UPSC GS Foundation course at Karol Bagh, we are starting it from 23rd December 2024, 8 a.m. in English medium. Lucknow, 23rd December 2024, Hindi medium and English medium both at 11:30 a.m. and Prayagraj, 2nd of January 2025, Hindi and English medium at different timing. For Hindi it is 6 p.m. and for English that is 5:30 p.m. Okay. Now before moving further, if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Now let's start with the fact of the day. Now, Jal Vahak scheme. We are talking about Jal Vahak. With the name, it is clear that it is related to, you can say, Jal or the water. Okay. So recently, the Union Ministry of the Ports, Shipping and Waterways launched Jal Vahak scheme to promote inland waterways and cargo movements. Okay. So they are talking about the inland waterways and the cargo movement. Now, when we talk about India, India has various rivers. When specifically speaking, if we talk about northern India, we are having perennial rivers. In the southern part of India, we are having some of the major rivers over there. Now, because of which there is a scope of the inland transport as well. Okay, inland waterway can be created. So recently, you know that there is this National Waterway 1 and 2 and 3. Like that, there are total 16 waterways which are, you can say, under the pipeline. Okay. Now, here you can see it was to promote the inland waterways and the cargo movement. Okay. Now coming to the next one, objective is it aims to unlock the trade potential of the inland waterway, reduce logistic cost and alleviate the congestion in the road and the rail network. Now when we are talking about the road and the rail network, so basically most of the cargo or the shipment transfer is done through the railway networks and the roads network. Okay. So considering that, because of that there can be, you can say, congestion in these particular forms of transport. So that is why we are going for the alternative, that is your inland waterways. Now it intensifies or nearly reimbursement up to 35% of the operating expenses will be given. It incentivizes long haul cargo movement on the national waterway 1, 2 and 16. Okay, 1 is on Ganga river, second the national waterway 2 is on Brahmaputra river, and the 16 one is at the Barak river. Okay. Now this is about the Jal Vahak scheme. You can go through it, you can take a screenshot as you wish. Okay. Now we can move further with the geography through map. Last time we have talked about the overall Himalayas. Today we will be focusing on the trans Himalayas. Okay. Now trans Himalayas are the one which are in the north of the greater Himalayas. Now this is your greater Himalayas range. Okay. In the north of that we have Karakoram range, Ladakh range and the Zanskar range. Okay. So these three ranges are part of your, you can say, trans Himalayas. Now here you can say K2 is here. Now K2 or other name is Godwin Austen peak. Okay, so this is the, you can say, highest peak and the second highest in the world. When we talk about the highest one, that is there in you can say Mount Everest, which is there in Nepal. Okay, now this is the K2 or the Godwin Austen, which is there in India. Okay, after that there are other various passes structure which are there, which we will be discussing in the, you can say, when we will be discussing passes. So this is about trans Himalayas. Here you can say there are important rivers like Indus and the Shyok river, they will be passing through in this region. Okay, so this is kind of, you can say, when we talk about the Shyok river, this is a tributary of Indus river, and that is why we can say that it is under the Indus basin. Okay, now coming to the important facts over here, here you can see trans Himalayas, these are the north to the great Himalayan range, almost average elevation if we talk about, that is somewhere around 3000 meter, and if we talk about the Godwin Austen, that is somewhere around 8611 meters. Okay, so that is the highest one in the trans Himalayas. Now if we talk about the prominent ranges, so here you can say Karakoram range, then Ladakh range and the Zanskar range. These are the three ranges which are prominent in the trans Himalayas. Karakoram range has this, you can say, it is forming boundary with the Afghanistan as well as China. When we talk about India's boundary with Afghanistan and China, that you can see in the Karakoram range. Then it is home to some of the highest peak, like you can say peaks and the glacier. Peak is K2, that is Godwin Austen, that is 8611 meters, and second highest peak in the world, which we have already discussed, and Siachen glacier and Remo glacier. These are some of the glaciers which are you can say located in this particular region of trans Himalayas in the Karakoram range. Now coming to the Ladakh range, if we talk about, so this is the area where you will be seeing the mouth of the Shyok river. Okay, Shyok is the tributary of Indus river in the North Kashmir, and it extends to the southeast direction towards the Indo-Tibetan border. Now coming to the next one, Kailash range, it is in the western Tibet and is also considered as the westward extension of the Ladakh range. When we are talking about the Kailash range and then the Mansarovar, etc., these are the part which are there in Tibet region. Okay, so this is the extension of Ladakh range only. Coming to the Zanskar range, there is one important peak, that is Kamet peak, which must be visible in this particular, you can say, okay fine, it is not visible over here. Okay, but there is this Kamet peak which is there, sorry, which is there in the Zanskar range. Okay, so this is about the trans Himalayas which we have seen. Here one or two important factor over here is that Raka Peshi, this is also a peak over here, and then there is this Nanga Parvat, this is also there in the Zanskar range, you can say, sorry, Karakoram range, it is there in the Karakoram range. K2, Raka Peshi and Nanga Parvat, these are in the Karakoram range. Okay, now passes like Jojila, Baralachala, all these passes will be talking about that in the passes when we will be discussing the passes. Okay, so this is about the trans Himalayas. Now we can move further with the our discussion of the day, that is starting with the first thing, that is after 13 years protected area regime set to be back in Manipur. When we talk about the protected area regime, in a simple words you can understand that the entry of foreigners in certain areas is not allowed. Okay, or when we talk about the specific countries like be it China, Pakistan or such from such you can say countries, entry of tourism in particular areas is not allowed. Okay, so that was the regime which was there mostly in the, you can say, northeastern region. When we talk about the countries states having border with the countries like Myanmar. Okay, so in this particular region this regime was there because, or you can say, to make sure that there is no illegal infiltration. Okay, so that was the one thing because of which this particular regime was you can say invoked. But recently what has happened is that after 2011 this was in, you can say revoked in the areas like Manipur and all, but recently it has been again you can say the chief minister of the Manipur has said that they will be going for this particular, or you can say home ministry has allowed for going back to the protected area regimes to make sure that there is you can say the problem of illegal immigrants is you can say taken care of. So they have gone for the reimposition of that. So let's see. The Manipur government announced on Wednesday that the center has reimposed protected area regime or the protected area permit. Okay, in the state as well as Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland. All of these three have border with the Myanmar, which we will be seeing in the map. Now, bringing back the restriction after 13 years was necessitated in the light of the security concerns over the influx from the neighboring countries like you can say Myanmar. And when we talk about the issues with China also, when we see, so you know that when areas like Arunachal Pradesh etc., they are also border areas. Okay. Now coming to the next one, Manipur government has alleged illegal immigration from the Myanmar as one of the prime factor responsible for the ongoing crisis which is going on in the state. Okay, when we talk about the Manipur, you must have heard that it has been in the news for various reasons, and the ethnic violence is going on there, and mostly it is said that it is because of the, you can say, clashes between the communities over there. Okay, so that is why it was reimposed again. There was no words from the center on the Manipur government's announcement. So you can say Home Ministry or the central government has not said anything. Even the other two states like Mizoram and Nagaland has not said anything about this. Okay. Now coming to the, you can say MHA's Ministry of Home Affairs guidelines. If we talk about, according to the Ministry of Home Affairs guidelines, a foreign national is not allowed to visit protected area as laid down in the Foreigners Protected Area Order 1958. Okay. Now when we are talking about this particular you can say order which was there, under which it is said that the foreigners entry is not allowed to, or they are not allowed to visit the protected areas. Now which are the area which is protected, which is being notified by the government. Okay, unless it is established that established to the satisfaction of the government that there are extraordinary reasons to justify such visit. Okay, so basically who will be deciding factor on the visit of a particular tourist? That is government or the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, so they are saying that without permission you cannot go in this particular area, and for permission also the government must be satisfied there is an extraordinary reason for a person to go in that particular area. Okay, now certain area within the protected areas which can be visited by the tourist with the permit. Okay, so if you are visiting over here, so you will be requiring a permit. For grant of the protected area permit for a reason other than the tourism, prior permission is needed from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now they are saying that there are certain areas which are designated for the tourists. Okay, if that area is there, so you can go for the, you can say, that particular area for the visit. But if you are going outside in a particular area and that is not related to the tourism, and in that case you will need to have a permit from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, now prior permission from the ministry is also required for the permits for tourism in the area not open for the tourism. Now let's say this is a, you can say, protected area. Under in this particular protected area there is some part which is open for the tourism. Now this part is open for the tourism, but this part is not. Okay, now if you are going for this particular area for tourism also, then also you need to have a permit from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, now moving further, till 2011 this regime extended to Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, and the some parts of J&K, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttarakhand. Okay, so these areas, if you see, these are all border states. If you talk about Arunachal Pradesh has border with Myanmar as well as China. When we talk about Sikkim, Sikkim has border with Nepal, China and Bhutan. When we talk about Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland, they are having borders with Myanmar. Okay, and parts of Jammu and Kashmir and you can say Himachal Pradesh. So with Jammu and Kashmir we have border with Pakistan. When we talk about Himachal Pradesh, we have border with China. Rajasthan, we have border with Pakistan. When we talk about Uttarakhand, we have border with Nepal and China. Okay, so considering all these things, these are the border areas, and to make sure there is no infiltration or any kind of enemy activities are not happening over there, or any kind of spy activities are not happening over there. So considering that, they have come up with the protected area permit. Okay, now however, in 2010, this has been relaxed for the entire area of Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland. So they are saying that till 2011 it was there in this particular region, but in 2010 it was relaxed in areas of Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland, and for the first for a period of 1 year, and then it was periodically extended. Now again they are saying that they will be reimposing this in these areas where relaxation has been given. Okay, now this relaxation was given to boost the tourism in this particular area. Okay, now coming to the next one, but even with the relaxation, certain restrictions continue to be in this particular place. Citizens and the foreign nationals of Afghanistan, China, Pakistan origin still needed a prior approval for Ministry of Home Affairs to enter into these areas. Now they have opened it for the tourism, they have actually relaxed some of the norms, but still there are certain countries like Afghanistan, China and Pakistan, for them you will still need a permission. Okay, so that was there. The Manipur government and the most section of the Meitei society has alleged that the uncontrolled influx of the illegal immigrants from Chin community. Now please remember that there is this community, that is Chin community. Now this Chin community is having you can say ethnic affinity with the communities which are living over here, like Mizos and Kukis, which are living Mizos, Zomis and Kukis. So these communities which are living in the Manipur, they are having some kind of ethnical affinity with them, and these communities are coming from Myanmar and they are coming into this particular area, and that is the reason they have said that they will be reimposing it. Okay. Okay, fine. If you are not getting it in your Indian Express newspaper, next time what I'll do is I'll put a page number also. Okay, so it will be easy for you to search it. Now today we are discussing actually two newspaper, yesterday's paper as well as today's paper. So that is why there might be a you can say mix of these articles. Right now just focus on the article, or you will be getting the PDF anyway, so don't worry about that anyways. Okay, because screenshot will be there and other aspects will also be covered over here. So this is about the protected area regime, okay, with respect to Manipur and the state like Mizoram and Nagaland. In simple words, you can say that in this area, the you can say to stop the influx of the illegal immigrants, they are trying and they are putting some kind of restriction on the people who can visit in this particular area. Okay, so and this is related to the foreigners, and for citizens it is allowed. Now moving further to the next one. Before that, you can see these are the, you can say, situation of Manipur, wherein you are talking about if you are looking at the various states. So here you can see Sikkim has border with Nepal, Bhutan and China. If we talk about Arunachal Pradesh has border with China and here Myanmar. Okay, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, they are having border with Myanmar. And when we talk about Tripura has a border with Bangladesh and Tripura has border with only with the Bangladesh, because both the side Bangladesh is there. And coming to the Meghalaya has border with Bangladesh. Assam has border with Bhutan as well as Bangladesh. Okay, so these are the northeastern states which are having some kind of land boundary with the various nations. Okay, so that is about it. Now coming to the next article, which is related to the India-China agreed to resume Mansarovar Yatra border trade after talks in Beijing. Okay, I have told you that there is a visit which is wherein Mr. Ajit Doval, that is National Security Advisor, and the Foreign Minister of China, they have visited and they have talked about it. Okay, moving to repair the bilateral ties after 2020, which has triggered the tension between the two countries after the standoff which was there in Galwan. Okay, now 6 consensus has been made. Okay, one is resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, trans-border river cooperation, and the Nathula border trade. Okay, so these are the 3 areas where they have gone for the consensus. Talks in Beijing between the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, who are also special representatives for the two countries. Okay, so these SR related talks or the special representative related talks has been on the hold after 2020. Okay, so they have gone for this. Okay, so they are making the efforts to mend the damage, the ties damaged by China's inclusion in the incursion in Ladakh. Okay, now they have gone for the resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, data sharing on the trans-border rivers and the border trade. Now these are 3 points. There are total 6 consensus which has been made in this particular visit and they have talked about. So let's see what 6 consensus were here. So here first is the mechanism enhancement with respect to the coordination, improve SR mechanism, as I told you, special representative level mechanism, and the military negotiation. Now this is to boost the you can say confidence building activities, or you can say this is to make sure that we are progressing on our you can say ties. Okay, so that is one thing. Second, peace and stability, maintain peace, support development, etc. on the border areas, or specifically speaking LACs. Okay. Then border management, refine management and control, ensure sustainable peace and confidence building measures at the borders. Okay, so that is about the border management. Coming to the next one, future dialogues. As I told you, these SR level meetings were not there, so they are saying that we will be going for the SR meetings regularly and advanced resolution process. Coming to the next one, commitment to the resolution, mutually acceptable solution, political guidelines. So they will be working towards the resolution of the issues which are there on the border. And cross-border cooperation, herein they have discussed about the border cross-border exchanges. They have as I told you, Nathula trade, then Indian pilgrimage to Tibet, that is basically your Mansarovar Yatra, and cross-border exchanges. Okay, so these are the 6 points wherein they have made consensus. Okay, so this is about this particular article here. Now here you can see, when we are talking about the Mansarovar Yatra, starting from India, they will be going to Nepal, and from Nepal to Tibet. Okay, now Mount Kailash is over here, and in this range only there is this lake, that is your Mansarovar lake. Other than that, there is this Rakshastal, which is important. You will be telling that which river originates from Rakshastal. Okay, so you can tell me that in the comment box. So this is about the, you can say, situation in the Mansarovar Yatra. One important factor is Lipu Lake Pass. Okay, if they are asking about the Mansarovar Yatra, most of the time you will be seeing that Lipu Lake Pass will be there in news, because Lipu Lake is the area from which you can go through the even Tibet area. Okay, other than that, here you can see there is this Kalapani, okay, and Lipu Lake is there, and there is one more place, that is Limpiadhura. Now these three areas are basically disputed between India and Nepal. Nepal is claiming that these are their areas, but obviously these are India's areas which are claimed by Nepal. So that is disputed. We cannot say disputed territory, but Nepal is saying, you know, kind of asserting their, you can say, influence over there in these three areas, because of the change or the shift in the river course of Kali. Kali is a river which is there. Okay, other than that, when we talk about the another area of dispute, that is there in Bihar, you can tell me the name of that particular, you can say, area which is there in Bihar, which is disputed between India and Nepal again. Okay, we have discussed that earlier as well. Now coming to the next article, Madhya Pradesh plans new home for cheetahs, relocate leopards. As I told you, we have discussed this article again and again. Okay, but they are doing it this time, so I have taken it again. Madhya Pradesh Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is set to become the new home for cheetahs. Now, which is the old home for cheetah? That is basically your Kuno. Kuno National Park is the place where already this cheetah reintroduction program has started, and now this is the new home, or you can say second home for the cheetahs. Now that is Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is set to become the new home for cheetahs as part of the conservation project aimed at creating a strong genetic foundation for cheetah population in India. These cheetah will be genetically diverse, disease free, and behaviorally suitable with minimal human you can say imprinting. Okay, so they are saying that we will be, you know, bringing few more cheetahs, okay, and we will be putting them in Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, so here you can see this is the area. Okay, now if you talk about this particular region, this is your Madhya Pradesh, and in Madhya Pradesh we have this Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Now this is having a, you can say, close affinity or the border, you can say, with the Rajasthan as well. So here this is Rajasthan, and then we have this Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary over here. Okay, so that is important for you. Other than that, here you can see 6 to 8 cheetahs to be released into 64 square kilometer enclosure in the sanctuary next year. 70 leopards in this range will pose a threat, because there are some, when we talk about this particular area, when we are talking about the habitable area for cheetahs, there is another predator which is there, that is leopard. Okay, and because of which there can be clashes, or they will survive on the prey which are available for cheetahs. So that is why these 70 leopards will be, you can say, relocated from this particular area. Okay, and 1500 prey animals will be added to this region. When we talk about the prey animal or the prey base, so mostly it is black buck, chinkara, and the nilgai. Okay, so they will be added to this particular area for you know, increasing the prey base for the cheetahs. Advanced tools like GPS collar, infrared cameras, traps will be used to monitor the predator-prey interaction and the dietary preferences. This initiative aims to establish a decade-long cheetah population strategy and improve coexistence with the other carnivores. Okay, so basically we are trying to revive the cheetah population in India, and there are two centers now. One is your Kuno. Okay, in the next year we will be seeing that the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary will be becoming the next one. Okay, so that is about this. Now we can move further to the next one. Supreme Court asks center to form policy for managing sacred groves. Okay, so this was from the yesterday's newspaper. Sacred groves are the areas wherein you will be seeing that with the forest there are some kind of cultural or the religious sentiments are also attached. Okay, people there, they will be considering these forests sacred, and they will be going for the worshipping this forest. Okay, so in various part of country there are various forests which are considered sacred. These are called as sacred groves. Okay, and in various part of the country these are called by different names. Okay, So that is there. Recently, there was this case in the Supreme Court, or the petition in the Supreme Court, wherein Supreme Court has given some directions to the center as well as to the Rajasthan governments. Okay, so let's see. The Supreme Court directed the center to create a comprehensive policy for managing and protecting the sacred grove in Rajasthan due to their ecological importance. Okay, in Rajasthan they are called as Oran. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, nationwide survey is to be conducted to identify sacred groves and their boundaries and ensure their protection from agricultural activity, deforestation and the urban expansion. So here Supreme Court is taking cognizance, and Supreme Court is saying that these sacred groves should be protected. Okay, so that is the thing. Now Rajasthan Forest Department was instructed to map sacred groves like Orans, Devvans through ground survey and satellite mapping in all districts. Okay, so these are the directions which has been given by the Supreme Court to the you can say central government as well as the Rajasthan government. Now, what are the sacred groves? Here you can see sacred groves were the recognized for their cultural and ecological significance, emphasizing the connection between the nature and the spirituality. So basically they are having this cultural, natural and the spiritual angle which are attached to them, and they are worshipped by various communities which are living over there. Okay, now there is this one community which is quite in news, that is Vishnoi community. Okay, and because of the black buck case also, and other than that also there are various reasons they are in news, and they are quite you can say when we are talking about the environmental conservation, they are quite famous for that as well. Okay, so they considered forest as a you can say kind of, they worship them as a god, goddess. Okay, so other than that, sacred groves protected under the section 36C of the Wildlife Protected Areas Act 1972, which allows designation as community reserve. Now they are saying that sacred groves are already protected under section 36C of the Wildlife Protection Act. They are also designated as the community reserves. Okay, now a 5-member committee will be set up, including the retired judges and the experts from the Rajasthan Forest Department and the Ministry of Environment, Forest and the Climate Change to oversee the protection and the management of the sacred groves. Then other than that, there is this Kiran Nidhi Yojana. Kiran Nidhi Yojana and other initiatives were highlighted for the empowering communities to celebrate and protect these cultural ecological sites. Okay, so here you can say Kiran Nidhi Yojana, that is related to your protection of the sacred groves. Other than that, there will be a 5 members committee which will be formed. Here you can say they are given designation of the community reserves under section 36C of the Wildlife Protection Act, so that you can remember. And what are sacred groves, we have already discussed. Now there is this map. Okay, this map is talking about the various places where you will be finding these sacred groves. Mostly you will be seeing that in the areas of you can say Western India. Here in Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, in the parts of Madhya Pradesh you will be finding sacred groves. Mostly you will be seeing that in the Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, these are the areas where you will not have these sacred groves. Okay, generally speaking, there can be exceptions, but generally they are not. Okay, other than that, here you can see there are various you can say places where sacred groves are available. Other than that, here you can see there are some names which are given there. You can say in Assam they are called as the Than. Okay, Chhattisgarh there are different names, that is Matagudi, Devgudi or Sarna. Okay, in Himachal Pradesh they are called as Devvan. Okay, when we talk about Jharkhand, that is called as Sarna or Jetar Than. Okay, so Jahir Than. Okay, other than that, Karnataka names are given. When we talk about Rajasthan, which is important over here because it was in news, so it is called as Orans. Okay, so these are the names. You can go through these names or you can take a screenshot over here. Okay, now let's move further to see the next news article, that is in a first image of active underwater hot spring captured in the southern Indian Ocean. Now when we talk about the southern Indian Ocean, there is this particular place, a ridge is there. Okay, and along that particular ridge they have found you can say hypothermal vent. Okay, hydrothermal vent. Hydro means water, thermal means something related to the temperature, and vent is a opening. Okay, so they have found something like that. So we will be seeing that what is it. In the first image of active underwater hot spring captured in the southern Indian Ocean, here you can say National Center for the Polar and the Ocean Region and National Institute of Ocean Technology imaged an active hydrothermal vent located at the depth of 4500 meters in the central and the southwest Indian ridge in the South Indian Ocean region. Okay, so in the South Indian Ocean region they have found this vent. Okay, Now it hold a potential for carrying out mineral exploration under rupees 4,000 crore deep ocean mission led by the Ministry of Earth Science. Now we have this mission, please go through it. Deep ocean mission outlay is 4,000 crore, and it is under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Okay, go through this. Obviously with the name it is clear that we are going for the exploration of the deep seas, deep oceans, okay, for the mineral and the metals. Okay, so that is there. So under that particular initiative they have found this vent. Now when we talk about the hydrothermal vent, what are these hydrothermal vents? So let's see. Hydrothermal vents largely found near the tectonic plates are underwater springs where cold water, that is about 2 degrees Celsius, prevailing near the seabed, comes in close contact with the magma in the tectonic, when we are talking about the tectonic activities or tectonically active regions. Okay, tectonic activities are basically the internal, you can say, movement of the earth's layers. Okay, so when we talk about the crust or the top layer of the earth, when it is moving, and there is this, you can say, in the when we talk about the mantle area, you will be having this magma which will be there. You must have heard about the asthenosphere, etc. So in these particular area the temperatures are very high, molten rocks are there, and these are called as magma. Now since temperature is very high and the cold water is coming in the contact with the, you know, these you can say tectonic features and the magma over there, which is very hot in nature, so because of which the temperature of water will also increase. Okay, so let's see over here. So they comes in the close contact with the magma in the tectonically active regions. When this cold water trickles through the fissures on the ocean crust and admixtures with the magma, it can turn into super hot water up to 370 degrees and emerge as the plums rich in the minerals, gases through chimneys and vents. Now let's see what they are trying to say over here. Now let's see. This is your ocean crust. Okay, now in the crust, and when the crust is basically, you can say, in somehow, if it starts to melt, or if there is this friction among the tectonically active areas, you will be seeing that there are plates which are, most of the time they will be, interacting with each other, and because of which some of the rocks will be, going inside the surface, and there will be this molten rocks which will be there, that is called as magma. Okay, now this is the crust, and the interior of that there is this magma which is having a temperature of around 1200 degrees Celsius. Now these are the molten rocks. Now let's see, this is the ocean water, and this sea water is entering through the fissures or some kind of cracks inside the, you can say, crust of the, you can say, the surface of the earth, and they are coming in the contact with this magma. Okay, because of which their temperature is increasing. Here the temperature is somewhere around 2 degrees Celsius. Here the temperature is around somewhere 1200 degrees Celsius, and somewhere over here these interaction will lead to this particular water to have a temperature that is more than 350 degrees Celsius, and ultimately they will find a vent, they will be finding an outlet through which they will be coming out, and since they are in the contact with the molten rocks, so they will be bringing some kind of plums, some kind of minerals, etc. along with that. Now you can see when it is coming out here, so that is having a temperature which is warm, that is 350 degrees Celsius, and here you can see there is this, you can say, iron, manganese, methane, carbon dioxide. Okay, so hydrogen sulfide, all these things are basically coming out in the forms of the plums. Okay, now these openings are called as the hydrothermal vents, because nearby you will be seeing the temperature is around 2 degrees Celsius, here the temperature is 350 degrees Celsius, and they are bringing some of the minerals and the natural resources out with them. So this is your hydrothermal vent. Now they will be rich in copper, zinc, gold, silver, platinum, iron, cobalt, nickel, and other economically beneficial minerals and the metals. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now we can move further to the next one. Now just know that these are found in the southern Indian Ocean. So we have a vent which is active in the southern Indian Ocean, that was in the news. In the examination they can ask you what is a hydrothermal vent. Okay, they can ask you about the features as well. Now coming to the next one, that is basically India France signs a pact for a grand museum in north and the south block. When we talk about the north and the south block of our buildings, wherein when we talk about south block, there is the Prime Minister office and the Ministry of Home Affairs is over there. Sorry, Ministry of External Affairs, that is sitting over there. When we talk about the you can say north block, also there are some ministries which are over there. now government has planned that they will be under the, we have this project, that is your Vista project, okay, Central Vista project. Under the Central Vista project, they have planned that they will be making it as a museum, okay. In France, this is this, you can say, this has been a trend wherein the old buildings has been converted into museums, okay. So with France we have signed a pact, okay. So here you can say India France signs a pact for the Grand Museum in North and South blocks with 1.55 lakh square meter. It is expected to be the largest museum in the world. Now the name is Yuga Yugin Bharat National Museum, okay. So that will be developed by the adaptive reuse, through the adaptive reuse in collaboration with the France. Now this is the kind of you can say methodology they will be using, that is adaptive reuse. Now this approach mirrors the France Grand Projects initiative, which saw the transformation of the government buildings into iconic cultural spaces, most notably that is Louvre. Okay, so there is this particular place. This used to be a royal place. This used to be a royal residence that has been converted into a museum. So on the same lines, we will be going for converting these two buildings as museum. India and France signs agreement for the adaptive reuse of iconic North and the South block into world-class museum and Yuga Yugin Bharat National Museum under the Central Vista redevelopment project. Now this is the name of the museum. This will be the redevelopment project under Central Vista. It is to become the world's largest museum in the world with completion aimed by June 2026. Okay. Now these buildings are already there, so they are going for the, you can say, somehow they are trying to revive them into a museum. Okay, they are trying to convert them into a museum. Okay, there will be jobs of the retrofitting sector, so that some kind of strength will be imparted to them, because these are old buildings. Okay, so that is the idea behind it. Okay, now North Block, which houses the finance and the home ministry, will be vacated by March 2025. So here you can say home ministry and the finance ministry is there in the North Block. In the South Block, we have Prime Minister's office and the Ministry of External Affairs. So that will also be vacated. Once vacated, the restoration will involve removing post 1931 additions and the repairing high use areas. Okay, so that is the idea. We have already seen that what is Yuga Yugin Bharat Museum, okay, National Museum. Now we can move further to the next article, that is related to China Nepal launch global dialogue series. Okay, time of the class is 10:30. Okay, so we'll be starting 10:30 or 10:35. Okay. Coming to the next one, China Nepal launch global dialogue series. Now Nepal and China, they have started this series, that is FEWA dialogue series. Now we have, you must have heard about the when we talk about the India, we have this Raisina dialogue. Okay, so when we talk about this Raisina dialogue, on the lines of that, they have started this dialogue. Nepal and China governments launched the FEWA dialogue series together on Thursday as part of the collaborative effort to formulate regional prosperity and the peace policies. Okay, now dialogue is being hosted by the Sichuan University's China Center for the South Asian Studies and Tribhuvan University Department of the International Relation and Diplomacy. You don't have to remember that. I just have highlighted it over here. Okay. Now, here you can see Nepal will officially have your own FEWA dialogue, a world-class think tank forum dedicated to South Asia regional economic integration. KP Sharma Oli government for 4 years has planned. 4 years ago, they have planned for this particular dialogue, but the thing is, what happens is, because of the COVID, it could not turn into action. So here you can say 4 years ago had planned to start the Sagar Matha dialogue. Okay, Sagar Matha dialogue series on the model of the Raisina dialogue, okay, which could not take place because of the COVID. Now there are three names which you can remember. What one is Raisina, which is India's dialogue, okay, Raisina dialogue, which is happening in India, that is related to the regional development and the peace and stability. Then coming to the next one, that is Sagar Matha. Now Sagar Matha was the idea. Sagar Matha dialogue was the idea which was to be started by Nepal for the on the same lines as the Raisina dialogue, but it could not turn into actions because of the COVID. Okay, now they have come for the FEWA. Okay, so this is the one which is started by China and Nepal. Okay, but this is a regional level dialogue. The regional partners will be involved on the later phases. So this is about it. Now coming to the next one, Israeli aircraft strike Yemeni cities in response to the missile attack by the Houthis. Now, Houthis has gone for the missile attack for various times when this issue of 7th October started. Israel Hama issue started. After that, they have gone for various missile attacks. Okay. Now, Israel has gone for the, you can say, another aircraft attack which they have done on the Yemen. Okay. Now, Yemen, why they are attacking Yemen? Because in Yemen there are some rebels called as Houthi rebels. Now, Houthi rebels are basically supported by Iran. Okay. Now, if you talk about Iran, Iran has a axis of resistance. Axis of resistance. Okay. Now, there are three groups which are prominently over here. One is your Hamas. You know that Hamas are there in Gaza Strip and they are against Israel. Then we have Houthis. Houthis are in Yemen and they are supported by Iran because this axis of resistance is supported by Iran. Okay. Then comes Hezbollah. Hezbollah is there in Lebanon. Recently, you must have heard about Hezbollah. It was in news because of the Israel-Hezbollah issue. Okay, so Hezbollah is also against Israel and that is there in Lebanon. And they are also supported by Iran. Okay, so these three names you can remember. This is called as the axis of resistance against Israel. Okay, so that is there. So they have launched an attack over here, and Russia here has said that the main beneficiary of the fall in the former government in Syria is Israel, because when we talk about the Assad's government which was there, this was supported by Russia and Iran. Okay, and Iran is having this axis of resistance. Now that the Assad's government has fallen, that means that the power of Russia and Iran has weakened in the areas of Syria. Okay, and that is why Israel is taking benefit of it. Now, when we talk about the southern side of the Syria and the areas like Golan Heights, etc., Israel is being more active over here. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, Russia is ready to compromise with the Trump on the Ukraine war, says Putin. So here they have said that if Trump's come up with some kind of solution or some kind of proposal, they are fine with it. They will be taking it forward. They are saying that they are ready to build a compromise with Ukraine over here. Okay. Now here you can say Russia has long been open to talk with the condition Ukraine dropping the NATO bid, one, and Russia controlling the Crimea. Okay, Crimea was annexed by Russia in 2014, and after that you have seen that USA has gone for the various economic sanctions of the Russia. Okay, so that is there. They are saying that the Ukraine has to drop these two bids. One is the NATO membership bid, and second is the Russia controlling the Crimea and other Ukraine territories. Okay, now these have been reiterated on the Thursday's press conference too, referring to them as the situation on the ground. What they are saying that whatever area they have occupied, they will be in that particular area. Now, this being the condition, they are ready for the compromise. Okay, so that is something which has happened in the Russia-Ukraine war related issue. Now, Modi to visit Kuwait on December 21, 22, first Indian PM to do so in 43 years. Okay, now why this is important? It is the first time that a prime minister is visiting after 43 years to Kuwait, and because of which it becomes important for us to have a look at the India-Kuwait relations. Okay. Other than that, geographical location can be important over here, because obviously if 43 years has been there and the prime minister is visiting over there, so that is there in the news for obvious reasons. Okay. So here you can see that is your Kuwait. We have Iran over here. This is the area. When we talk about this area, that is your Red Sea. That is the area of Persian Gulf. Okay. Now this is the location over here. The small you can say country is there over here. So it is having border with the Iraq. This is not having a border with Iran. Know that it is visible like this, but it is not having the border with Iran. If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comment box. Okay. And then here you can see with Saudi Arabia, they are having a border. Okay. So that is about the location of the Kuwait. Now Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Kuwait on December 21, 22, the first Indian Prime Minister to do so in 43 years. Kuwait's Amir Sheikh Mashal Al Ahmad Al Zabar Al Shaba has actually extended the invitation, and Prime Minister has accepted it. Before that also there are various you can say presidents, they have made their visit, that is Vice President Dr. Zakir Hussain, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1981, Vice President Sri Hamid Ansari in 2009. Okay, so these are the people who has gone for the visit earlier as well. Okay, now Kuwait is among the India's top trading partners with the bilateral trade valued around 10 billion US dollar in financial year 23-24. It is India's 6th largest crude oil supplier. Okay, so that is one important factor, that it is India's largest 6th crude oil supplier. Okay, meeting 33% of the our demand. When we talk about India's energy demand, 3% are met by the Kuwait. Okay. India's export to the Kuwait reached 2 billion US dollar for the first time, while the investment by the Kuwait investment authority in India exceeds more than 10 billion US dollar. Okay, so that is an important factor. Kuwait remains reliable energy partner, ranking as India's sixth largest supplier of crude oil and the fourth largest supplier of LNG. So Kuwait is giving us LNG and you can say crude oil. Other than that, also we have import-export relations with them, and Kuwait has a good amount of investment in India, that is more than 10 billion US dollars. Okay, so that you can remember, or these are certain facts which you can put in your answer if you are asked about the India and Kuwait. Okay, so that is about it. Here you can see, this is again I have taken a picture over here. This is the area of Kuwait. Okay, this is the Gulf region or the Persian Gulf. Okay, and then here we have Saudi Arabia, and in the northern side we have Iraq of this Kuwait. Okay, so that is about the location. Now coming for your own read, there are two articles: high cost of financing, fiscal deficit, why gold bond scheme could end. Now I have covered this topic in focus program, so you can go and check the playlist over here. So that is why I am not taking it. Other than that, another article is there, taxing coconut oil, why Supreme Court said it is for the eating and not for the air. Now there was this question with respect to the status of coconut oil. It is for the, is it edible oil or for the personal care? Okay, now why that was an issue? Because under the GST regime, when we talk about the edible oil, they are charged 5% GST. When we talk about the personal care product, they are charged at 18% of the GST. Okay, so that is why that was in question whether we should charge 5% or 18%. Supreme Court has given a verdict in the favor of the edible oil. They have said that it is an edible oil. In some places you will be seeing that coconut oil is used for the personal care as well, but the thing is it is mostly used for the, you can say, eating. So that is an edible oil, and that is why it should be charged with the 5% GST. Okay, so you can go through this article if you are interested. Otherwise I have told you the news. Okay, so that is about the coconut oil. Now in the end we have a question for you, that is basically a practice question. Which of the following is not part of Iran's axis of resistance? Hamas, Kurdish militia, Houthis or Hezbollah? So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.